Telos, meaning the highest purpose, was a term coined by Aristotle. It's about individuals in society coming together to reach their fullest potential. Cities that have been built to date from scratch are more like real estate projects. They don't start with people at the center, because if you started with people at the center, you immediately think, okay, what's the mission and what are the values? The mission of Telosa is to create a more equitable and sustainable future. That's our North Star, and that'll never change. What we're trying to do is combine the best of different cities in the world and bring it together. So if you think about Telosa being as vibrant and diverse as a New York City, combined with efficiency, safety, and cleanliness of a city like Tokyo, combined with the social services, the sustainability, and the governance model of a city like Stockholm, we are going to be the most open, the most fair, and the most inclusive city in the world. If you really want to go after a moonshot, which I would consider the city to be, you have to start with a big, bold vision. You need to raise the required capital, and you need to surround yourselves with the very best people in the world. And if you get those three things right, you can achieve incredible magical things. Bark, who's the founder of Big, expressed an incredible passion for this project. Telosa, in my mind, sort of embodies the kind of social and environmental care of the kind of Scandinavian culture and the kind of freedom and opportunity of a more American culture. You get a great firm with someone who basically is passionate and wants to see this project come to fruition as much as we do. We're taking a stab at what we call equitas here. What if you can pay the same taxes that you pay today, but get the best social services of any country in the world? That's equitas. Testing this new model for society, and at the same time, you're also testing building a city from a clean slate. What you do, how do you infuse technology in it? How do you build it more sustainable? How do you build a public transportation system that's more efficient? How do you build underground movement of waste of goods to keep the city more clean and more walkable? How do you test autonomous vehicles to keep it safer? If I can imagine the ideal state 30 years from now, I would want people to have a sense of pride in the city because the city lives by a set of values that resonate with them. But the city is the most open, the most fair, the most inclusive city in the world, and that's what people feel when they're in city.
Welcome to Tour Tech Marvels, your ultimate destination for exploring the wonders of modern technology. Join us on a journey through the latest gadgets, mind-blowing innovations, and fascinating tech discoveries from around the globe.
The city of Telosa is a planned development that promises to not just be the city of the future, but also to be a completely new model for society, similar in vein to mega projects like Saudi Near. These planned megacities are a response to the emerging problems of today's world, which include overpopulation, pollution, and climate change. These future cities aim to redefine what it means to create a thriving city from scratch that is designed to be sustainable, resilient, inclusive, and equitable for all of its residents. The name TSA comes from the ancient Greek word telos, which can roughly be translated to the greatest purpose. First unveiled to the public in September 2001, Telosa is the brainchild of American billionaire Mark Law. Shortly after stepping down as president and CEO of American retail powerhouse Walmart, Law announced his ambitious goal to create the planned city of Telosa. Through this visionary project, he aims to create a more equitable and sustainable future that can become a blueprint for future generations. In charge behind the master planning of TSA will be renowned Danish architect Bjarke Ingels, who has previously been commissioned by Toyota to create a smaller, smart future city in Japan. The core concept behind Telosa, and the reason why it is being planned in the first place, according to Law, is to create a city with the needs of the people serving as its foundation. As it stands, more than 50% of the world's population currently lives in cities. This figure is expected to increase to as much as 70% by the year 2050. Because of this, cities have become important centers for education, research, and economic opportunities for millions of people. And although cities have brought much growth to a few handful of individuals, not everyone directly benefits from this development. This increasing wealth gap is precisely what Law and Telosa are trying to solve. The goal is to build a city wherein everyone will have equal opportunities for growth, no matter their socioeconomic or cultural background. To achieve this vision of equality, at the heart of the plan is an economic system known as equitas. The idea behind this system is to create a community wherein the people will directly benefit from the growth of the city. In this system, Telosa will own all of the city's land, while its citizens are given the freedom to build and sell homes on top of this land. Ideally, as the city grows, land values will also grow alongside it. These generated funds will then be invested back into the city through public services, transportation, education, and healthcare, thus fulfilling the vision of equity wherein all citizens have equal access to high-quality services. Although the final location for the city of TSA has not been decided, the people behind it are planning to build the city on desert land in the American West, in the states of Nevada, Utah, Idaho, Arizona, or Texas. Another consideration is for the city to be built somewhere in the Appalachian region. East, how will an entire sustainable city be built in the middle of the desert? What exactly is equitas, and why is a billionaire of all people proposing the city of the future? As the consequences of climate change continue to wreak havoc all over the world, there have been more and more proposed solutions that strive for sustainability. Some of them seem like pretty unthinkable ideas. Of course, there's the line of 117-kilometer mirrored linear city in Saudi Arabia that's designed to be fully walkable with no cars or carbon emissions. Mexico has proposed a smart forest city near Cancun that would contain 7.5 million plants eco-efficient developments, and South Korea's floating city is structured to combat rising sea levels with platforms on top of the water. Born after the ancient Greek word telos meaning highest purpose, it's an entire city built from scratch to be located somewhere in the American Southwest. This wouldn't be the first time something completely new was built there. The Hoover Dam was constructed nearly 100 years ago around the Arizona-Nevada border and created a vital water electricity supply for the surrounding cities. The first phase is ambitiously set to be completed by the year 2030. By this point in the development, the city would be capable of housing as many as 50,000 residents over an area of 6 square kilometers, which is roughly twice the size of New York Central Park. Once completed, the second phase of the development aims to fully build the rest of the city over the course of the next 40 years. Over 5 million people are expected to live within the city by this point, with a total area of more than 120 square kilometers. By comparison, the city of Telosa will be as big as the city of San Francisco, but with more than 6 times its population living in the same area. In total, the entire project is estimated to cost as much as $400 billion USD to complete, with funding primarily coming from potential private investors and federal and state grants. In comparison, Saudi Arabia's The Line is estimated to cost a similar $500 billion USD, which, unlike Telosa, is completely funded by Saudi's sovereign wealth fund and, by extension, the Saudi government. With TSA's highly ambitious plan and vision for the future, Mark Law and his team have to overcome one of the biggest hurdles with the construction of planned cities like these funding. It's not exactly easy to convince the government and private investors to lend you billions of dollars into creating a vision that may not be fully realized. And even though TSA promises to be different by saying that its people will be at the center of the city's development, it will still need a huge sum of money to even begin this insane mega project. But despite all the mounting environmental and financial challenges, and with no construction work having been started more than a year after the project was first announced, Mark Law and his team are still optimistic and determined to fulfill their vision of the most sustainable and inclusive city in the world by the year 2030. Thank you for joining us on this tour of tech marvels. If you enjoyed the journey, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more exciting content.